Hello, Homeworks members, and welcome to your 2023 district meeting. I'm Angel McCliggett, and I'm the Employee and Member Engagement Manager at Homeworks. I'm here to serve as your moderator for tonight's virtual event. Before we begin, let's quickly cover our meeting protocol so you know how to participate this evening. You can interact with us during tonight's meeting by using the simple buttons that pop up on your Zoom webinar screen. The first button is Raise Hand. You'll use this button anytime you'd like to make a motion or second a motion tonight. Next up is the Chat button. You can type in the chat box if you'd like to make a comment, nominate yourself or another member for a position, or bring up any matters of business this evening. The Q&A button is to be used if you have a question that you'd like to pose to our CEO. Clicking on this button will bring up a box that allows you to type your question, which we will pass on to Mr. O'Neill for the Q&A session at the end of tonight's event. Our communications manager will be monitoring your comments and questions throughout the meeting, and we will be sure to follow up with you afterwards if any of your questions are unable to be answered during the event. Back to voting. Anytime a motion has been made and seconded this evening, your voting options will pop up directly on your screen for you. Simply click on the button representing the way that you would like to vote, and as the votes come in, the polling numbers will show up right there on the screen, so everyone can see the results in real time. Moving on, do you have your bingo card ready for tonight? We hope you'll join in the fun during the meeting by listening for keywords and topics and checking off any that you hear us discuss tonight. If you get a vertical, horizontal, or diagonal bingo, write the account holder's name and homework service address on the card and return it to us via mail or email by May 29th. Everyone who turns in a winning bingo card will be placed in a raffle for one of our 3 exciting grand prizes. I also want to remind you that if you'd like, you can follow along with some of the topics we discussed this evening in your digital district meeting booklet, which you should have received by email this afternoon. This helpful booklet can also be accessed at homeworks.org/D7booklet. And finally, as always, be sure to stay logged on until the end of this meeting so you don't miss out on the prize drawings that you were automatically entered in just by attending tonight. We have a lot of great items that we're excited to give away, but you must be present to win, so stay with us. All right, now that you've got the basics down, it's time to get started. Here to officially kick off tonight's meeting is a word from your District 7 Director, Shirley Sprague.
Welcome, District 7. I'm Shirley Sprague, and I am honored that you have entrusted me to represent our district on the Homeworks Tri-County Electric Board of Directors since 2016. Helping to guide the direction of our great cooperative is a responsibility that I take very seriously, and I am so happy to be here with you tonight to update you on the exciting things that have been taking place at Homeworks over the past year. I am currently serving my 3rd 3-year term as your District 7 Director. In addition to representing you on the Homeworks Board, I am honored to have been chosen by fellow board members to represent Homeworks on the board of our power supplier, Wolverine Power Supply Cooperative. At Wolverine, I serve as Treasurer of the Board and Chair of the Audit Committee. I am pleased to report that both organizations are working diligently on your behalf. I am proud to work with these distinguished organizations to serve my friends and neighbors and our community. Homeworks has been hosting these district meetings for decades, and it's such an effective way to stay engaged with the co-op we all own. One of the many things that sets cooperatives apart from other utilities is that every member has a voice and a vote. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to participate in the democratic process of your cooperative. Did you know that our district includes over 5,400 members residing or receiving service in Mecosta and Osceola counties? My husband Eldon and I are proud to have been Homeworks members in Barrington for 44 years now. Homeworks sure has come a long way in those 44 years, and the co-op has come even farther in the 86 years since it was founded by farmers in Eaton, Ingham, and Jackson counties to bring electricity to their unserved rural areas. As you know, we are repeating that history today by bringing reliable, high-speed fiber internet to our rural areas of mid-Michigan that other providers have often refused to serve. CEO Chris O'Neill will tell you all about that and several other exciting co-op projects a bit later. But first, we have some co-op business to conduct tonight. In addition to electing your board representative every 3 years, as you did last year, you also elect district officers each May. They include our district chair, Don Pasalt from Hersey, who will conduct our brief business meeting in just a few minutes. Our district vice chair is Elaine Grace from Acosta, and our district secretary is Connie Gibson from Everett. Thank you, Don, Elaine, and Connie, for your service to our district. Again, I am thrilled to be here with you tonight, and I am so happy to have so many of our District 7 members engaging with the co-op in this format. I've said it before, but having informed member owners really does make HomeWorks a stronger cooperative. I want to close by thanking you again for allowing me the honor of serving as your district director. Now please welcome our CEO, Chris O'Neill.
Thank you, Director Sprague, for providing that message to your constituents. District 7 members, welcome to your 2023 live-streamed virtual district meeting. I'm Chris O'Neill. Many of you know me as I've served several different roles on HomeWorks for the past 20 years. I took over as your CEO in 2020, and I want to echo Director Sprague in saying that it is my great privilege and honor to serve you. I'm so happy to have you here with us tonight. The democratic process is one of the founding principles that sets co-ops apart from other types of utilities, and HomeWorks depends on members like you who are willing to be involved and informed. Plus, I'm very excited to update you on the things that have been happening at HomeWorks over the past year. I think you're going to really enjoy the informative co-op update that we put together for tonight's meeting. We'll hit on several timely topics after our brief business meeting this evening. First, though, I want to quickly highlight another thing that really sets co-ops apart, which is our community outreach. We try to do all that we can to make a positive impact for the people who live within our service footprint, especially those people who are in need. One of the most important ways we try to fulfill that goal here at HomeWorks is through our Tri-County People Fund. Our People Fund has granted over $2.6 million to families and organizations throughout our service territory since 1993. Recent People Fund grants supporting your neighbors in need in this area include contributions to the Chippewa Lake Community Church for food pantry items and grants to 6 Mecosta County families in need for help with housing and utility expenses. Our People Fund is made possible by those of you who round up your monthly electric bill to the nearest dollar as part of our Operation Roundup, and we want to sincerely thank you. Our People Fund board of 7 volunteers, one from each one of our districts, works very hard to make sure each grant request is considered with care. Here in District 7, your People Fund Director is Geraldine Strong. I want to thank Geraldine and her fellow board members for all the time and compassion they put into this worthy project. In addition to the People Fund, we have a couple other community programs that help make a big difference locally as well. This year, we made Touchstone Energy classroom technology grants to several local classrooms, including grants here in District 7 to Morley Stanwood schools for an innovative math program and to Brockway Christian Academy for a technology upgrade to help students learn. We also awarded $1,000 Touchstone Energy college scholarships to 12 very deserving high school students whose households are served by our electric lines to help them further their education. We love any opportunity to support our local students and teachers. Recently, with the help of a matching grant program offered by our lender, CoBank, we were able to donate $10,000 apiece to the Elsie Baby Pantry and I Am Kids Third Meal in Fenwick to help them make a big impact for children and families in our service area. We try to support local families and organizations as often as we can because as a co-op, we're committed to enhancing the quality of life in the communities that we serve. And there's a reason for that. We don't answer to some faraway investors, and our directors and employees all live right here in your neighborhoods. In fact, myself and many of our employees are HomeWorks members. Like you, we're truly invested in rural mid-Michigan. You might remember that last year we told you about a new employee volunteer program we started to give our employees an opportunity to engage with their communities and help make a difference for their neighbors. True to form, our employees have embraced that program and helped it grow exponentially in the past year. We thought you might enjoy seeing a glimpse of how they're making a big impact throughout our service area, so we put together a quick video highlighting some of our volunteers.
Our community outreach program was implemented as a way for our HomeWorks employees to engage within our local communities through volunteer work.
The program is important for the company to implement because it does recognize the individual employees for the time that they give to their communities. It also lets the communities know what we're doing for them. As a cooperative and member-owned, that's important for them to understand what our role is here.
So I volunteer within the HomeWorks blood drives. I've also went to the Portland Middle School and taught them a little bit about HomeWorks and what we do and how they can get involved within our cooperative. I've also been to a couple career fairs doing the same.
Yeah, I grew up in Portland, went through the volleyball program all through high school, and I saw people helping out when I was a player, so I thought maybe when I get older, I'll do that too.
We also were able to donate to St. Jude's over $5,000, and to be able to write that check to them and send that to them, it meant a lot.
So many individuals or organizations need help. You see the need and you see how appreciative they are of you helping, and it can't help but make you feel good.
So part of the cooperative principles is concern and care for community, and we recognized that we had a whole slew of employees that were out volunteering, giving their time, money, whatever they could in their local communities. So we thought it was time for us to start recognizing it.
Each month, our employees submit a Google form with how many volunteer hours that they have done that month. And then with our Touchstone Energy funds, we have purchased little rewards. So for example, when they reach 5 hours, they get a little koozie cup as an incentive, as a thank you for volunteering within our community.
HomeWorks is such a great organization that is so diverse in helping people, individuals, schools, nonprofits. They make it so easy for us to do that. It makes you feel good about working for HomeWorks Tri-County.
The HomeWorks board, staff, and you, our members, truly do care for the communities we serve, and I think that comes through in everything that we do. Thank you for embodying the cooperative spirit and helping us to make a difference year in and year out. Another way we embrace the cooperative spirit is through our legislative advocacy on your behalf. And we've hosted several of our Michigan state senators and representatives at our facilities over the past year. And I've visited with many others in Lansing to foster relationships and advocate for rural co-op members. Advocacy regarding issues affecting rural America and our local communities, including broadband access, electric reliability, power supply, easements, and more, is an important aspect of being an electric co-op, and you can be sure that we will always maintain our commitment to using our voice to speak for you. All right, just one more quick update before we start your business meeting. You have told us that you overwhelmingly prefer the virtual format for district meetings, and we're happy to oblige that with these webinars. We still want to have an opportunity to engage you in person though, so we've developed a new event called HomeWorks Park Parties, which will kick off this summer. This will be a fun, informal, open house style event where you can drop by with a family, enjoy some ice cream on us, and talk to our staff directly about any co-op questions you may have. Your park party will take place the afternoon of June 29th at Fork Township Community Center in Barrington. We'll send you an invitation with more details in the mail as the event nears. We hope you'll be able to join us. Your annual meeting will also be back in person this year, taking place on Saturday, August 19 at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant. If you opted to serve as an annual meeting delegate when you registered for this meeting, you'll receive more information on that in the mail in the coming months as the meeting date gets closer. All right, I'll be back with a brief pre-recorded operations update for you in a few minutes. First, you need to conduct your annual business meeting. Your chair, Don Passault, will come up now to conduct this portion of tonight's proceedings. Good evening, Don.
Good evening. Thank you, Chris. I'm Don Passault, and I have served as your district chair for several years now. Homeworks Executive Assistant Michelle Hoon just informed me that we do have a quorum with 133 member households in attendance tonight. Thank you for taking the time to log on. Let's begin our business meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now we'll have our Vice Chair, Elaine Grace, take care of our next agenda item.
Thank you, Don. The notice of meetings, proof of mailing, and 2022 meeting minutes are on page 4 and 5 of your district meeting booklet. I'm going to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of these and accept them as presented. Don?
Aye. Thank you. Elaine, and thank you for your years of service to the district. Can I get a second to accept the notice of meeting, proof of mailing, and 2022 minutes as presented? Good. Turn the page. Our moderator tells me we have a motion and a second to accept the notice of meeting, the proof of mailing, and minutes from our last meeting as presented. Please vote on this motion using the polling on your screen now. Thank you. The motion is carried. When you registered to attend this meeting, you were asked if you wanted to be invited as a delegate to Homeworks' annual meeting in August. For those of us who signed up to serve as 2023 annual meeting delegates are listed on page 7 of your district meeting booklet. I move that we dispense with the reading of the delegates and accept this list as presented. Can I get a second? Great. It has been moved and seconded to approve the delegates as presented. Please vote now using the functions on your screen. Great. Motion is carried. If there is anyone here tonight who is not already on the list but interested in being invited as a delegate to the annual meeting this year, please contact Homeworks Executive Assistant Michelle Hoon at the email address or phone number on the screen now. Mr. O'Neill, please come forward for the election of district officers.
Thank you, Don. First, let me remind you what your volunteer district officers do for your cooperative. The chair runs the annual membership meeting, as Don is doing here tonight. The vice chair steps in if the chair is not available. The secretary reads the notice of mailing and calls for approval of the minutes from the previous year's meeting, as Elaine stepped in and did this evening. Every 3 years, the officers also serve as the nominating committee when your district's board seat comes up for election. That was their job last year. Your district chair is Don Passault. Don has indicated he is willing to serve another term in this position. If elected, is there a nomination to nominate Don? We have a motion. Is there a second? We do have a second to the nomination of Don. During the registration process, Tara Lee of Everett also expressed interest in running for the chair position. Is there a motion to nominate Tara? There's a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to nominate Tara Lee. Are there any other nominations for district chair from the floor? If not, let's go ahead and put your district chair position to vote. Please use the polling on your screen now. Thank you. Don has been re-elected as your district chair. Your district vice chair is Elaine Grace. Elaine has indicated that she would agree to serve as district vice chair again. Is there a motion to nominate Elaine Grace? We have a motion. Is there a second? Thank you. We have a motion and a second to nominate Elaine. During the registration process, Bob Murray of Mecosta also expressed interest in running for this position. Is there a motion to nominate Bob? We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to nominate Bob Murray. Are there any other nominations for district vice chair from the floor? If not, let's put your district's vice chair position to a vote. Please vote using the polling on the screen now. Thank you. Elaine Grace has been re-elected as your district's vice chair. Your district secretary is Connie Gibson. Connie has indicated that she will be stepping down this year after many years of dedicated service to this district. Thank you, Connie, from all of us here at the co-op for your service. During the registration process, Tara Lee and Deb Oliver both expressed interest in running for this position. Is there a motion to nominate Tara Lee for district secretary? There's a motion. Do we have a second? It has been moved and seconded to nominate Tara Lee. Is there a motion to nominate Deb Oliver? We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to nominate Deb Oliver. Are there any other nominations from the floor for district secretary? Okay, let's go ahead and put your district secretary position to vote. Please use the polling buttons on your screen now to place your vote. Thank you. Tara Lee has been elected as your new district secretary. Thank you to all of our candidates. Now I will turn it back over to Don.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Is there any other business to come before this district? If not, I will accept a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Please vote using the polling functions on your screen now. Thank you. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Now I'll hand it over to our moderator, Angel McClingot.
Thank you, Don, and thank you to all of our district officers and all members who voted in our director election and in the business meeting tonight. Now we'll move on to the co-op update portion of our meeting. CEO Chris O'Neill has pre-recorded an informative update for you, and at the conclusion of the briefing, Chris will be back up here live in person to answer your questions. Remember to use the Q&A box at any time to enter any questions that you would like to pose to Chris. Now sit back and enjoy Chris's co-op update.
Hello, Homeworks members. You just finished up your business meeting, which is one of the main reasons we ask you to attend your district meetings each year. You're not just a customer of Homeworks Tri-County Electric, you're a member and an owner of the co-op. So it's crucial that you have the opportunity to participate and engage in the democratic process. Another important reason we invite you to your district meetings is to provide you with a look behind the scenes at your co-op's operations and the projects we've undertaken on your behalf over the past year. There's a lot to touch on here, so let's get started. First off, you probably noticed that I'm coming to you today from the truck garage in our Portland office. I'm out here because this is one of the areas that represents the heart of what we do, which is to hit the road running every day to provide you with reliable services that enhance your quality of life. Between our two offices in Portland and Blanchard, we have 106 employees, and I can tell you with no hesitation that every one of them is committed to going above and beyond the call of duty to serve you. Did you know that the electric operations employees who drive these trucks out of this garage every day helped provide you with power that is 99.95% reliable last year? As a member-owner co-op, that doesn't have to answer to investors or meet any arbitrary profit margins. We're able to invest in the type of regular system maintenance and upgrades that prevent outages before they happen. And when storms come in and outages do occur, these trucks hit the road immediately, and our employees work to restore your power safely, quickly, and efficiently. In fact, we recently received our 2023 Michigan Public Service Commission Standards Report, which measures our performance in areas like how quickly we restore your outages, answer your calls, and more. While large electric utilities in our state regularly struggle to meet these standards set forth by the MPSC, I'm proud to say that our 2023 report shows that we far exceeded those standards in every single category measured. So, if you've noticed sometimes that your lights are on when your neighbors who are serviced by other electric providers still might be in the dark, there's a reason for that reliability. It's the investment we've made in our system and the hard work of our skilled employees who are dedicated to providing you with power you can rely on. Now, it's no surprise that the cost of providing you with electric reliability continues to steadily increase. As a not-for-profit co-op, our electric rates are based solely on the cost of providing you service and nothing more. Unfortunately, the cost of day-to-day operations to run your co-op and the pricing for the equipment, materials, and contractors needed to maintain our electric system have risen exponentially over the past couple years. Because of those increased costs, along with sustained volatility in the power supply market, it is likely that we will be asking our board of directors to consider a rate increase at our July board meeting, which, if approved, would take effect in October of this year. Of course, we will inform you of the details of any rate adjustments before it hits your bill, and I assure you that we will work to keep any increase as minimal as possible to adequately cover our cost and support the financial stability of the co-op we all own. My goal as your CEO is to always be transparent with you, so I wanted to let you know what is likely on the horizon. We've provided a detailed financial report on pages 8 and 9 and 12 and 13 of your district meeting booklet, where you'll see that the co-op continues to experience very slow growth with a net of 248 new active meters in 2022. 2022 energy sales were also up very slightly, with a 1% in kilowatt-hour sales over 2021. You're probably aware that part of being a co-op member means that anytime we have operating margins, that money gets allocated back to you, the members, as capital credits based on your share of electricity purchases during the year. That allocation of margins helps to make up the equity in the co-op. You can see your specific allocation amount noted on your May electric bill. So far, we have returned over $24 million in member equity to you and your neighbors. In March, your board voted to delay the consideration of capital credit retirements until the fourth quarter of this year, when they will review the financial status of the co-op and determine if a retirement is viable at that time. As always, we will keep you updated on the status of any capital credit retirement through our Country Lines magazine and direct mail communications. I mentioned earlier the volatility of the power supply market as a factor in your energy costs. Recently, I sat down with Zach Anderson, Chief Operating Officer of our power supplier, Wolverine Power Cooperative, to talk about the reasons behind that volatility, along with several other very important issues affecting power supply and the electric grid reliability. I want to share our conversation with you now. I think you'll find it very informative. Hi, Zach. Thanks for sitting down with me today and being willing to discuss the important issue of power supply. It's an issue that I've spoke with many members on, and they have a lot of concerns about power supply and the state of the current grid. So let's get right to it. Zach, electric reliability is a hot button issue currently, and Wolverine does an incredible job on behalf of Homeworks and all of its members in securing enough electric supply during peak demand for our members. With that being said, can you please explain to our members how we could still be facing electricity shortages and talking about rolling blackouts while we're talking about having enough supply?
Yeah, it's such a fantastic question, and it's an important issue for our members to understand what's going on out there. And so, to be very clear, Wolverine, on behalf of our members as the generation and transmission co-op that supplies you your power supply, we are an exporter. All seasons, spring, fall, winter, summer, we have enough generation, and in fact a little bit more, meaning we export when demand is highest. The blessing and the curse of the grid, though, is we're all in this big pool together. And so if others, as is increasingly the case, do not have enough generation to meet their maximum demand, we all end up having to sacrifice. And the most painful bit of that sacrifice is literally being forced to have the lights go out with what are known as rolling blackouts. The way that we talk about it, and I think is easiest for people to visualize what's going on, is we're being forced to play a really dangerous game of Jenga. And when I say that, I don't mean to say we're playing a game. This is real life and economic risk. So that's why it's a dangerous game of Jenga. But if you think about it and visualize it this way, if you have a solid Jenga tower at the start of the game and all the blocks are in place, that's really, really strong. And that's where our grid has been for its 100+ years in its history. But now we're being systematically forced to go through a transition that has us pulling out key components of those Jenga blocks, and the tower is becoming less and less stable. So as we retire more and more generation and we can't replace it fast enough, and we're not replacing it with the same resources, meaning weather dependent and intermittent resources like renewables, those are trying to come on too quickly as we pull out those Jenga blocks, and we risk that tower becoming more and more unstable. And unfortunately, that has very serious consequences for all of us.
Absolutely. That provides some wonderful clarity, Zach. For our members who are concerned, can you tell them what the process would be if MISO said that we needed to institute rolling blackouts in order to save the grid?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something that we have to plan for. On the plus side is we do have a plan. And so if we are asked to shed load, everyone's being asked to shed load. They don't pick on just rural cooperatives. It's everybody needs to do their fair share to cut back. And so from a practical standpoint, it's a phone call that comes to our Energy Control Center at Wolverine, and then we implement our plan, and we don't know how long it will last, but what we try to do is spread that pain around for the shortest amount of time possible so that one member or one substation in our world isn't bearing the brunt of that pain and that penalty in that situation.
And that's where the term rolling blackouts comes
You're
from.
rolling them around.
Absolutely. Let's transition to another but similar related topic here. Our members at Homeworks hear a lot about our electric reliability and our investment in electric reliability. We provide them with power that is 99.95% reliable, which I think is outstanding. Can you break down for our members how we can be talking about one kind of superior reliability on one hand, but then warning them about the electric grid and other issues on the other? Can you delineate that for us?
Yeah. And I think of it in three key buckets. So you touched on this, Chris. Homeworks and Wolverine have been doing a lot of investment in our systems. So those are the power lines and the substations that serve our members. And so that's one bit of reliability, system reliability. Sure. And that's really strong, almost 100% reliable. Yeah. The next bit of reliability is generation reliability. This is another area where I'm proud to say that Wolverine is a leader in the region in how reliable the power plants that we own and operate on our members' behalf perform under all scenarios. We are far and away better than anyone else at operating our power plants, and that pays off that when they're needed, they will run to support our members, and that's key. So system reliability, generation reliability are the first two. The third is, as we've been talking about, is grid reliability. So we can do what we need to do on our system, we can do what we need to do from a generation standpoint, but then we have to recognize that we're all connected, and that grid reliability is where the challenge lies, and that's outside of our control. So the thing that we're really focused on is communicating on this message and being practical, that we want to be leaders in renewables. We want to be leaders in providing affordable power supply, but in doing that, everyone else has to be pulling in the same direction so that we provide highly reliable power from a grid reliability standpoint. So you've got system reliability, generation reliability, and then grid reliability, where we're all in it together. And we need to be an advocate for good grid policy.
Very good. Thank you for that. That was a very detailed explanation on a fairly complex issue, so I appreciate that. Next question here, Zach. Wolverine is a state leader in renewable power, and yet, as we've been talking about, we know we need to advocate for a responsible energy transition to renewables, sort of balancing both cost and reliability metrics along the way. What do you see as the role for renewables being now, and maybe what the role changes to in the future?
Yeah, so as leaders in renewables, we were the first utility in the state to have a commercial scale wind farm. Co-ops were amongst the first to have community solar programs. We have been leaders in renewables and receive almost 20% of our total energy needs are met by renewables today. And we have an additional 40% of our portfolio that is carbon free. So 60% of the energy supply that we get today is carbon free. And we believe in it, and our members believe in it, and they support it,
Absolutely.
Even if it costs a little bit more. It's been something that we're proud to be leaders in, and we'll continue to lead into the future in adding more and more renewables to our long-term power supply mix. But we have to also recognize we need to do that while being responsible and keeping the lights on 24/7, 365, because if we don't, it has real economic, and unfortunately, it can be life-threatening for cold weather events like we have in Michigan. It can be so cold that it can be deadly for people. And so we take these things very seriously, thinking long-term to be as decarbonized as possible while keeping the lights on 24/7, 365.
And that's an incredible balance that you do strike. And so, Zach, thank you for sitting down with us today. You provided some great information to our members on power supply, an issue that I know really resonates with them, especially currently when costs are going up. And there's a lot in the news about power supply and potential rolling blackouts. So one thing I will say is we definitely appreciate everything that Wolverine does on behalf of our members, especially to provide them with safe, reliable, and affordable power supply. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
There are a lot of complex issues there, and I appreciate Zach sitting with me to break them down for you from a power supply perspective. One thing Zach mentioned quite a bit was carbon-free and renewable energy. You might not know that we offer a great renewable energy program for our members with 3 different levels of participation. We also offer a robust energy optimization program to help you save money by integrating beneficial electrification and energy efficiency measures at your home. Last year, the program helped our members to save over $107,000 and over 832,000 kilowatt hours. I encourage you to take a minute to check out our EO page at homeworks.org/EO to learn more about our rebates and incentives. Next up, let's move into some very exciting news on our Homeworks Connect fiber internet project. I'm thrilled to report that just this month, we've completed our fiber network build-out to our entire membership. That's over 2,100 miles of fiber line built over the past 5 years as part of this $94 million investment in delivering reliable, high-speed internet across our rural mid-Michigan footprint. You might remember that it was May of 2018 when we officially undertook this project and made the commitment to our board to complete our mainline construction within 5 years. I could not be more proud of the fact that despite the unprecedented challenges of the pandemic and other obstacles along the way, we have met that commitment. We are still finishing up our fiber splicing in parts of our northern service territory, so our fiber service is not available to every single member home just yet. But we are very close to reaching everyone. To celebrate this momentous completion of our network construction and everything this project means for our cooperative, our members, and the communities we serve, we put together a quick video on the project that I think you'll enjoy.
Everybody here has been affected by this fiber build. And the difference between this and all the other business ventures I've been involved in is it actually involved the entire organization. For bringing broadband out into the rural areas, it brings that same passion back to the organization. You see people being re-energized because we're doing something that's everybody wants.
We first talked about it at the district meetings, and the membership was in favor of us going out and borrowing the money and doing the broadband business. At that point there, we had taken information from the senior management that had done the investigations on what it would take and how much money we would have to borrow and what type of timeline we would have. And that's where it started, just about 5 years ago.
Who would have thought that in 2018, when we started this, considering a 5-year journey to build out fiber to all of our customers, that we would have COVID. We still managed to catch back up again, and we're actually going to finish the project, well, by the way I look at it, about 4 months early.
Those were quite trying times, but we just kept persevering. Everybody on the staff, everybody in the building, all of our employees and stuff just have worked their butt off to get this thing done. We all know as board members who did the work, and that was the employees here at HomeWorks.
I feel really proud to be a part of the fiber team because it is such an exciting, seemingly life-changing service that we offer. So it is great to know that I'm a part of something bigger than myself.
People don't realize how much of business takes place over the internet today, how important it is for business to have a high-speed internet.
You know what, as a business owner, having fiber internet, it takes away a lot of the uncertainty. We would have a lot of problems losing our phones. We would have a lot of problem losing credit card authorizations. When you have unreliable internet, it affects everything from day-to-day operations.
The members are very appreciative of the service. Many of them say it's the best service that they've ever had. Super easy to get in contact with someone at the office, where a lot of other companies, you get someone from a different country, like we're in your backyard.
I work for companies that are all around the world. You know, these are software companies that have offices everywhere. When I am in a Teams meeting or something online, they always ask me about my internet because it just never drops. It just seems so crisp. And I said, you know what? I live in the middle of nowhere and I have the fastest internet in any place in the world that I've ever lived. Nothing has been as fast as the internet that I have in Portland, Michigan.
Anybody that has the possibility of using our broadband should really do it, because I've been in business for 40 years myself, and this is a very well-run company that runs almost like a family business where people really care about our members. I believe they will go beyond what is called from them to do the job.
That gives you chills. The project has made our electric system more reliable than ever, provided economic growth opportunities for the co-op that will benefit every member, and delivered life-changing broadband access to our rural service territory. Over 9,000 HomeWorks members and counting are subscribed to HomeWorks Connect, and we continue to hear very positive feedback about the unmatched speeds and reliability. And now, with the completion of our build-out to our membership, we're beginning to embrace the opportunity to expand our network to neighboring non-member areas as well. For example, you might have seen our recent announcement about our exciting partnership with the City of Portland to bring our fiber internet service to city residents and businesses. Partnerships like this one help us to continue our mission to improve the quality of life in our local communities with reliable broadband access, while also providing economic benefits to our co-op and our entire membership. So we're excited to pursue these new opportunities. If you're not a HomeWorks Connect customer yet, and you're looking to upgrade your home internet or phone service, please give our fiber team a call or visit join.homeworksconnect.org. We'd love to connect with you. Moving on, another great service we offer at your co-op is Tri-County Propane. For over 24 years, our crews have done an exceptional job of delivering great value to customers in our area with highly dependable propane at competitive prices, even in the midst of a very volatile fuel market of late. This year, our propane team has worked very hard to integrate a new software that is improving our delivery efficiencies and helping us provide even better service to our customers in the field. In the office, too, our experienced and highly trained propane customer service team continues to work to provide an incredible level of service beyond compare. With great options like 24-hour service, a budget plan, autofill and metered service, and outstanding reliability, I'm very proud of the exceptional service Tri-County Propane continues to deliver each year. So that was a quick look at the past year for your co-op. As you can see, we've been busy, and it's been another productive year of exciting growth, change, and opportunity. Our employees work very hard every day to make you their priority, and throughout the rest of this year and beyond, I can promise you that we will always maintain that commitment to you and providing you with safe, reliable, and affordable utility services that enhance your quality of life.
Thank you, Chris, for providing that great update. Now Chris is back here live to answer some of your questions before wrapping up with the most exciting part of the night, our prize giveaways. If you have a question that you'd like our CEO to try to address tonight, please type it in using the Q&A button. We received a few questions, and I mean a lot, from attendees prior to tonight's meeting during the registration process, so Chris will answer those now.
Thanks, Angel. Now that we're on the right camera, let's go ahead and handle some questions. We had quite a few questions submitted in the pre-registration process, so I'll go ahead and handle those. I'm going to group some of these together in the interest of time, but feel free to ask questions tonight also. So many questions about the timeline for internet, and so we covered that a little bit in the video, but currently we just wrapped up our mainline build, so all of our mainline construction is complete. We're simply working on splicing that main line together in our last zones. That splicing will take a couple weeks in order to finish. We expect to release all of the contracts after that splicing is done within the remaining zones by the end of June. So if you're pre-registered, watch your email because we'll be releasing contracts by the end of June. If you haven't registered yet, register now so that you can get that contract and get in the queue as soon as possible. Once your contract is signed, you'll enter the queue. It's first come, first serve. Right now we do have a lot of demand. We have about 1,500 different members that are interested in service currently in that queue. We have brought on another contractor to help us get that cleaned up. Currently we're about 8 to 12 weeks out once you get your contract signed in order to get the drop built to your home and then to get the install scheduled. So obviously, we're looking to bring that 8 to 12 weeks down with the additional contractor, but that's the current timeline as of now. Additional questions on pricing regarding internet. Are there any current plans to reevaluate the existing HomeWorks Connect packages and pricing? We evaluate our competitive market position with regard to packages and pricing on a very frequent basis. And our market analysis shows that we're very competitive with where we are currently with pricing. That being said, I think we offer a little bit of a greater value to some of the competitors because our speeds that we offer within our packages, you're going to get consistently. And many other technologies, you may not get those speeds even though they're offered to you in a package. So something to consider when you're comparing us versus other carriers on the internet front. The next question here is, what is the minimum cost for basic internet service and has it gone up? So the minimum cost for basic service is $59.95 for 100 megabits per second up and down, that's symmetric, and it's all you can eat, it's unlimited data. That has not gone up since 2018 when we started our project. Our managed Wi-Fi service has gone up slightly. Back in 19, that increased from $7 to $10, and that hasn't changed for quite some time either. Our next package is at $74.95, and that is for 200 megabits per second. And then we go to our third tier, which is $84.95 for 100 megabits per second symmetric. Again, unlimited data. And then our top package that we currently offer is $129.95 a month, and that is 1 gig symmetric up and down, all you can eat. So some very competitive pricing and outstanding service. Again, reliability and consistency with regards to broadband. So I think that got through our pricing questions for internet. Some other internet questions. I haven't signed an internet contract due to the requirement of a hold harmless, not responsible for damage. How can I know where lines are? So in this situation, we would ask every member when we're doing an underground installation for a service drop for broadband to mark their private utilities. So maybe there's a line from the house going to the garage. We would need that marked and or an approximate location marked on a site map. Same thing with a drain field or a septic tank. Those types of things, we need a general idea so we can avoid damaging them. And that's principally what the hold harmless is for, that if we come and try to use the information provided by the member to install internet service, that we have a general idea of places to avoid so we don't do damage to the member's property. If you have questions about that, call our office. We can help you with some resources in order to identify those areas. Next question here is, can we get internet at our campsite? And the answer to that question is it depends, really. At commercial campsites, typically we'll deliver the internet service to a DMARC, and they will take that internet service and deploy it wirelessly across the entire campground to various campsites. However, if you own a property in our service territory and maybe you have an RV pole that you would like internet to, that's something we can certainly discuss if you want to call our office and give us your specific situation. Next question here is, can I have power and internet run together underground in my home? And the answer is yes. Generally, we will match the construction of the power. So if the existing power is overhead, we will build the fiber internet overhead. If the existing power is underground, we will build the power underground. However, if you want us to convert the electric service to underground from overhead while we're installing internet, there is an additional charge to change the disposition of that electric line, and that's simply to cover our costs. Next question here, we're going to transition out of internet and into the realm of solar and cost and renewables. So the first question here is, are we ever going to get incentives to get solar or hydroelectric put back onto the grid? And the answer is we do have 3 different programs that we offer on solar, which is community solar, where the member doesn't need to make an investment at their location. They can simply purchase a panel and the panel's generation is credited on their monthly electric bill. There's a net metering situation that we offer also, a net metering program where a member can make the install of solar at their home and they will get the difference, a bill or a credit for the difference, depending on what's delivered and received as far as energy from the co-op or being sent back to the co-op from solar production. And then the last one is for larger solar arrays above 20 kW. That is called a buy-all, sell-all agreement. Typically, these are accounts that are developer-oriented, larger solar arrays. And in this situation, the developer or the account holder would purchase all of their energy from the co-op in order to keep their inverters energized. And then the co-op would in turn buy back all of the energy that is produced from that solar array. So those are the 3 programs that we currently offer on the solar front. We don't offer anything currently on hydroelectric. Next question here is, what is the best way to do solar? Are there any buybacks or ways to make secondary income with HomeWorks? So how we have our solar programs positioned with our generation and transmission cooperative, Wolverine, is that we do credit back members in that net metering scenario and in the buy-all, sell-all scenario, and obviously also in the community solar scenario, but that's at avoided cost. So that wouldn't be at retail. That would simply be at the cost that the other members who don't have solar could go to the market and purchase that same energy for, in order to create fairness across the organization and across all the members of Wolverine. And so that's currently how our solar offerings are positioned. Next question here is, I want to hear more about solar panels and the co-op's current regulation of payback. And I think I just covered that pretty thoroughly, so if there's additional questions on that, please let me know. Next one is cost. What is the availability, or excuse me, how is the availability charge fair when you are our only option? So the availability charge is simply a cost recovery mechanism. As you may know, the co-op is not for profit, so all the co-op expenses that are assumed on behalf of the members have to eventually be passed through and be paid for by the members. The fixed availability charge represents the co-op's fixed cost before we ever deliver any energy to the location. So there's costs that the co-op assumes on a member's behalf before they even turn the light switch on. And those typically reside in things like poles, wire, transformers, meters, etc. The additional, so that's what that fixed charge represents, that availability charge. It's simply a cost recovery mechanism for those fixed costs that exist regardless of whether you use energy or not. Our actual cost of service across our entire footprint is around $56 per meter per month, as far as it pertains to our cost of service study. And then our variable charge is for any energy that's actually used, and that covers the fuel and the generating capacity in order to produce that energy to send it to you for use at your home and business. Next question here is, how can I lower my electric bill? So really a couple different things on lowering electric bills. One is utilization of our energy optimization program. We have incentive and rebates out on our website, homeworks.org, that are very member focused, and that's something that we encourage members to take advantage of in order to try and reduce their electric consumption and or to do some fuel switching on certain appliances and or lawn equipment even. As far as really moving the needle on your electric bill, two things to consider. One, the envelope of the home or the structure, whether it be a business or a home, is really important. So think windows, doors, insulation, those types of things will definitely, if upgraded, reduce your electric bill. The other thing to consider is appliances, especially old appliances that aren't Energy Star appliances. Changing those out will indeed reduce your electric bill also and accomplish the sort of the same function of the older appliance. So a couple different ways you can go about saving on your energy bills. Also, if you have energy bills that you believe are very high, please give your co-op a call. We do offer a home energy audit and a high bill audit in order to identify what circuits and what appliances are using the most energy in your home. Next question here is, how do you calculate/populate your electric bill? So really three different components to your electric bill. Our bills are bundled, not unbundled. Some utilities have every different item broke out. We bundle them together for the ease of identifying different components of the bill. So you have your fixed cost, which is your availability charge. We talked about that. You have your monthly usage, your kilowatt hour charge, which is the energy charge. So that covers the consumption of fuel in order to have energy, in order to cover the energy that you used. And then we have what's called our power supply cost adjustment factor. And that's a little bit of a complex term, and it's actually a complex idea, but what it does is we estimate the amount of fuel that we believe that we're going to use in order to cover members' needs each year, and we adjust that rate up or down depending on whether that estimate was high or low. And so that's simply an adjustment factor that we use on the bill, and that goes month to month, and something we're constantly watching depending on wholesale markets and power costs. Next question here is, why can't you do an annual budget plan review? And we do annual budget plan reviews, so if this is a specific question pertaining to you, give us a call. We'd love to talk with you on that and figure out sort of what's behind the concern there and how we can help. Next question here is renewables. What is the co-op's current support and or availability of solar, wind, geo, So we do have a special geothermal rate, and we offer a geothermal program. And if you're interested in geothermal, give us a call. We have a very strong program with regards to that. As far as renewables in general, we're over 20% renewable as a Wolverine member, and we're over 60% carbon free. And so we're the state's leader in both of those categories currently, and that's something we're really proud of. We started that process down that path strategically at Wolverine, all 5 co-ops that own Wolverine, back in about 2006. And so that's something that we didn't need to be told to do. It's something we wanted to do because we believed in it. Next question here is, how are you going to replace the supply lost due to Palisades Nuclear and the mass shutdown of coal plants? Great question. The reality is it's very difficult to replace those assets that are dispatchable. And currently they're being replaced with variable assets like renewables, which don't have dispatchability. And so that's one thing that we're very concerned about, is as we sort of make our transition to a cleaner energy future, making sure that we don't take assets that are extremely reliable offline before we have dispatchable replacements for them. And we believe it'll take 3 things, we call them the 3 T's: time, technology, and transmission in order to make that happen. And we communicate that frequently with our legislators and our regulators. Next question here. I would love my propane through you as well, but when I called I was told my credit wasn't good enough. Why is it based on credit? The propane company delivers large amounts of propane, and typically those are delivered and then you have to pay for them afterwards. And so that is based on credit risk, and that's an organizational decision through that subsidiary. If you have questions about that, or we can offer you a different program, give us a call. We're happy to work with you. Next question here is, can you split the electric lines so that not so many people have outages at the same time? It's a wonderful question, and we actually do a lot of what's called sectionalizing, which is adding fuses or breakers in between various components of distribution line in order to break up the line if there is a fault and an outage. One of the issues that electric distribution systems have is that if there is a fault closer to the substation, so think closer to the source, that's going to affect more members regardless of how we have that line sectionalized. So just something to consider when looking at distribution circuits. Looks like we got a couple other questions that came in tonight. We'll go ahead and go through those. Have we found renewables like wind are not reliable and can have adverse effects on the environment? What are you doing to ensure primary energy sources are maintained? So lots of lobbying. And from our perspective at Wolverine, we have done exactly what we needed to do and maintain dispatchability, maintain reliability, while also making our energy transition. So we have enough generation to cover our members. The issue is we're interconnected with a greater grid, and that greater grid has entities who maybe haven't made some of those decisions. And so we are talking with MISO, the independent system operator, and we're also talking with state regulators and legislators on this issue. So it's something that we can't solve on our own as HomeWorks and as Wolverine, but what we need to do is work with the other utilities in the MISO footprint to maintain reliability as they make their energy transitions. Next question here is, are the potential rolling brownouts due to our state governments shutting down our existing generation plants powered by natural gas and other fossil fuels a large component of the instability of not only the state of Michigan, but the MISO footprint is due to the premature closing of dispatchable power supply, whether it be nuclear, natural gas, or coal, and then in place of those dispatchable assets, putting variable assets like solar or wind on, which can't be dispatched during extreme weather conditions. So most certainly that is what's causing the issue currently. Next question. Are carbon credits part of programs that were implemented when they purchased credits? I'm not sure on that exact question. Carbon credits are not something that we deal in currently, and we don't deal in them at Wolverine currently. But we do understand with some new EPA rulemaking that carbon credits might play a larger role in the future, and that is yet to be determined as that rulemaking is in its initial stages. So stay tuned on that issue. Next question, is propane available to our whole service area? That answer is absolutely yes, it is. Next question here, how will we be notified of rolling blackouts? So we hope that MISO provides us, Wolverine and Homeworks, enough notice that we can send a note out to our members, whether that's an email, a recorded phone call, or even a text message. That being said, sometimes these issues happen very quickly, meaning Michigan, as a net importer, might have a failure outside of the state of a generator that creates a situation of a lack of supply. And so that could happen literally in a very short time period where we wouldn't have a large runway in order to notify our entire members. But those are principally the mechanisms that we would use in order to notify our members of a possible rolling blackout situation. Next question. What steps should one take when they see a tree that could easily take out both the electric and fiber service? One should give us a call as quickly as possible so that we can go ahead and get our certified arborist out there to take a peek at it and determine the hazard and the next steps. Next question here. I have a fiber line with a previous company. Do I still wait in line? And the answer is yes. It's a first come, first serve line at the moment in order to create fairness throughout the membership. Next question here is, what is pay-as-you-go service? Pay-as-you-go service on the electric side is called prepay metering or pay-as-you-go metering. And what that is instead of getting a bill for your usage after you've used it, you can put a credit on your account and you will use that energy up and you can track how much energy you've used against that credit and be notified when you're going to run out of credit. And so you would almost prepay for your electricity and then monitor its usage as you went through a period of time. Next question here is, will you be producing a guide for the Inflation Reduction Act and how members can take advantage of the current program? At this point, we don't have any intention of providing a guide on the IRA Act. In fact, that's a very complex act. There's about 27 different funding mechanisms just for the co-op. And so we're actually wading our way through that with our national organization and our ECA, National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. So that is a dense and a lot to consume as far as different programs, and that's not something we intend to offer members at this time. All right, I think that exhausted all of the questions, so thank you so much. If I didn't get to a question, please let me know, and please know also that we've noted it, and we'll contact you and follow up individually to address your concern. To conclude, let me thank you for your attendance at our virtual district meeting tonight. Now, let's give away some big prizes. Executive Assistant Michelle Hoon and Manager of Employee and Member Engagement, Angel McCliggett, are coming up to draw our raffle winners. Good luck.
Thank you, Chris. We have randomly selected our prize winners tonight from the list of those who are in attendance this evening. Let's get started. First up, we have a Shark robot vacuum. And the winner of that vacuum this evening goes to Michael Sharskursky, I think.
Yeah,
I
so
think
we should just apologize in advance
Yes.
for butchering any names. Sorry about that.
Yes, but congratulations, Michael. We'll give you a call.
Yeah, we'll get in contact.
Our next prize this evening is a smart clock with a charging station. The winner of that prize this evening is Martin Bailey. Then we have an Arctic 30 can cooler. That'll be a good thing to have to take around. The winner of that is Carolyn Tosley. Congratulations.
And then we have some Samsung earbuds for Barbara Presley, a Bose wireless speaker for Christy Campbell, and a Ring doorbell for Rick Wesley. I got the easy names.
We also like to give back to our community. So with that, we have purchased two $50 gift cards to different businesses. The first one this evening is for the Corner Cup in the Barrington Remus area. I understand this is a nice little place to go.
Sounds good.
The winner of that one is for Chandra Reichert. Congratulations on that. And then we also have a $50 gift card to the Tullymore Golf Resort in Stanwood. And that one goes to Mesha Mortensen. Congratulations. Do you want to go ahead and give away some gift cards?
Thanks for the easy ones. A $100 Meyer gift card for Alice Karcher and James Bradley.
All right.
And then we have a we have two $50 Meyer gift cards for Dorothy Raydell and Linda Tilley.
We also have some gas cards this evening to give away. First, we have $100 gas card, and that is for Donald Mayer. We also have some $50 gas cards, gas gift cards. Those go to Angela Thomas and Perry Guys, I believe. In addition, we give away some Homeworks bill credits. We're going to give away 4 $50 bill credits. Those are for Jacqueline Pelletier, Jeffrey Wilhoff. I got the really hard ones.
Sorry.
We also have Bruce Bennett and Deanna Harvey.
And then we have 5 $25 Homeworks bill credits. We have Audrey Truman, Kay Johnston, Lysandra Marfelis, Jeff Finch, and Christopher Akart.
And that's it for our prizes this evening. Thank you so much for attending. We hope you enjoyed your district meeting. If you want a bill credit this evening, it will be placed on your account in the coming days. If you want a gift card, we will drop that in the mail to you. And if you want another prize, we'll be calling you to make plans to get that to you. If you got a bingo tonight, make sure to turn your card in by May 29th to be entered in for the grand prizes.
Thank you all and have a great night.
Have a good night.